And it's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. GM on this beautiful day. Good morning to Web3 with Morocco, Sep and Mando. Tuning live at 10:30 and it's all on Rock Radio. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. GM Rock Radio.
What's up? Welcome to Rock Radio, everyone. Today is Friday. Yo, you know how it goes down on Friday.
Yo, what up? Good morning, GMG. Friday, March 17th, 2023. Look at that. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. The sun is not shining. Wait, I don't understand. Like, is it? There has to be. The sun's over the clouds, right? Like, obviously, it's like the clouds haven't left in a few days, or maybe it's just because I don't get out of my office much. Actually, unless I need to fill my water bottle up. But anyways, got my co-host in the house. OSF, what's up, Ovi? Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Dude, I'm vibing. I mean, look, looks like Ether went on a run before the show, so we're hoping that we're going to continue it as we speak. You know what happens when we start talking on the show. It's usually that's what happens on the show. But I think it ran so hard before the show that we're going to have a hard time during. Golden is still rugged, so it turns out Androids can't join the space. And I found out yesterday on the French show because Guillaume, one of our co-hosts, Normandy, couldn't come. But then one of our guests, Lanamore, couldn't come from an Android. But when he logged in from an iPhone, it worked. So sorry, Android user. Also not sorry. We kind of been telling y'all to switch to Apple for a few years now. So that's on you. So with that, Jazz is in the background like, yo, Jazz, like, let me in. What's up, Jazz? Let's see you on here. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing great, fam. I'm doing great. It's Friday. We're here to get it. I'm super excited.
Look at his smile. Look at his smile. There you go. There you go.
Smile. Let's go.
There you go. That's fun. I love that. Jazz is always so happy. I love it. Like team meetings. People need to see his face more. So anyways. Anyways, GMs in the chat. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. All right, don't I see you guys? Hefner's on it. 30 views means 30 likes. 50 views means 50 likes. All right, make sure you subscribe. We've been posting some pretty cool shorts. One of them just passed approval. Is hilarious. I gotta show you. I may show you on this stream over because it's so funny. We got G-Man on stage on Space as well. G-Man, how you doing?
GM. I'm doing good. I got my Beeple last night. I got my Ovi Lisa. Ovi Lisa's in the mail.
Nice. In the mail. T-shirts in the mail.
I gotta go mint my 3 during this show because I don't want to mess it up. We also should mint some from the GM wallet, from our GM Web3 wallet. That could be fun. I need to go get that done during the show. Remember to get your Ovi, Farouk, and Mando Lisas. I'm gonna pin that at the top. It's pretty fun. And yes, that Beeple. I'm definitely gonna talk about that on this show. In a second. So anyways, today on the show, today, DGen's market report as usual, crypto, macro, NFT, the summoning. We didn't talk about it yesterday. We had quite a busy stage. We're going to talk about it today. DGOD's ordinals. I think the first one, Frank's original DGOD's at for 87 grand just now. So we'll talk about that. Arbitrum token is here as well. That's something I had planned for yesterday's show. And then chat with the Glimmering team today. Today's partner on the show, the Glimmering. We're going to be joined by Jimmy.eth and a bunch of other cool people. So excited to ask them a couple questions when it comes to this project. And as usual, this is sadly, the last time I get to say this on GM Web3. Our show is sponsored, powered, whatever word you want to replace, sponsored by Fair.xyz. remember that you could still use the conditions to buy even beyond our partnership, but we will be announcing the 5 winners of the Corey Van Loo PFPs today. And on top of that, remember to get your Farouk, Ovi, and Mando Lisas. I said 12 p.m. Eastern, but I believe it's open until 12:30, but make sure you get them because they're free. They're free NFTs. The t-shirt's on you. You got to pay for it. That's the utility to it. But besides that, it's free and it is hilarious. I'm going to go mint like 20 of each, I think, so I can just keep them for future reference and just hand them back. But anyways, that is pinned now at the top of the Twitter space. Without further ado, let's get, why is my broadcaster not working? Let's get right into it.
Daily Market Report. Brought to you by Rug Radio. Joseph, what's the word?
Hey guys, so traditional markets were opening a little bit lower today. We had a strong day yesterday. We ended the day up to 2.5%. It looks like the S&P 500 is back down almost about 1% today this morning. Interest rates are just whipping around, man. Like so much volatility in interest rates is wild. 2-year was like 30 basis points higher overnight, or in the close yesterday, it's now 20 basis points lower. So these are huge, like 5 to 7, maybe even 10% swings in like US government bonds, which is theoretically risk-free. So it's just some crazy volatility there, which is insane. 10-year is at 3.4 right now. Crypto is outperforming, doing very well. Bitcoin, I think we actually touched 27K and we've moved back down to 26.2. I think that's kind of like in line with how stocks opened. ETH was as high as 1750, back down to 1710, but we're still, like 5 or 6% higher on the day on both of those. Altcoins definitely still lagging / underperforming, but they're still up. Some things like IMX are up 15, 20%. Everything else maybe seems up like 3 to 5%. So you're still seeing a big Bitcoin ETH dominance here. I don't really know why crypto is rallying. Like, we've talked about the positive narrative of crypto, and that's the only thing I could think of, but that feels like not a strong enough reason to explain this rally. I don't know, but it just keeps going higher. So RIP to Capo and anyone else out there who's been short. Yeah, that's kind of it, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happening while we're talking, but we're definitely rallying, racing to zero as we speak after having ran so hard. No, I love saying that. But it's true. I mean, JB Goggin here is saying ETH just can't seem to break through that 1800 mark, and it's kind of like what you and I were talking about behind the scenes, and it seems to be something that a lot of people talk about, the resistance, right there.
Yeah.
This bad boy. Wait, let me zoom out. It's not on the hourly. Sorry, it's on the daily. There you go.
I think it's more so on the
bad boy here.
Yeah, they're looking at the Bitcoin chart. I think the Bitcoin daily close yesterday was the highest in 9 months, I think.
Oh wow,
something like that, something crazy
there
like
it is.
that.
It's this one, right?
Yeah. So I'm not really much of a chart person, but people are saying that like if Bitcoin progresses beyond like this level, like whatever it is, 27K or whatever, then it could really be off to the races according to chart people, which I'm still skeptical on chartists, but there you go.
My favorite chart influencers are saying that 30K is a magnet, that 40K is a magnet. I'll take it, and because that just means that ETH is going to send. So if my favorite Bitcoin influencers are calling for 30K ETH, 40K ETH, I'm not going to tell them no, because you got to respect the pump, because if you respect the pump, then the pump will come back to you. And that is something extremely important. It's something absolutely important right now. I'm trying to mint those Lisa things, but what's it's saying,
still trying to mint them,
dude. It keeps saying that that I failed too many times and that I can't mint mine. But I'll figure it out. I'm just gonna go to the fair chat and just scream at them for a second and act like it's their fault and gaslight them when it's probably my fault. And so I'm playing, but yeah, definitely, crypto did really well. Maybe not this chart, maybe not the last 15 minutes, but crypto's definitely been doing pretty good until Ovi started speaking. Actually, this is when the show started. The show started here, Ovi. Usually, it's the other way around, and in the YouTube chat, James Sutter and Idol Alchemist are right. Jim Cramer bottom signal, and someone said Bitcoin is bullish because Jim Cramer told us to sell, and it's true. He did tell us to sell it, so hang on to it with your dear life. Not financial advice. So anyways, I guess that's about it for the coins, right? Not much going on until FOMC and whatnot. So let's get into NFTs.
Yeah.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
Where do you start on NFTs? Not really that great on a few different projects that continue to fall a bit further. Mutants are down. Otherdeeds is a little bit lower. Azuki is a little bit lower. CloneX, Doodles, and Moonbirds are all like 3.5, 3.6 area. So yeah, definitely looks a bit tough on NFTs. I think that's kind of like a response to ETH probably. And it's probably a combination of that and, still blur farming and people holding the bag and dumping on each other. So combination of those two things. But yeah, it's really not looking that great in NFTs. And look, there's just so much. I woke up this morning, there's so much FUD on the timeline now about all these projects that have raised big valuations and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's a lot, and I think it's going to bury some of these projects, and it'll be interesting to see how the founders respond and try and revive them and come back from them, because it shouldn't really affect any of your plans, like in my opinion, as a founder. But yeah, like it's not looking that great. I wonder how long this lasts, to be honest with you. I'm curious to see how long it lasts for.
Bleeding?
The bleeding, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I put a poll out. Put a poll out on my Twitter. I'm pinning at the top. I said, if you could bet on that project to bounce back from the lows, which one would it be? Doodles clone, CloneX, Moonbird, or Cool Cats? So it's pretty even, but most of the people's bet seems to be on CloneX. So let me. I
would bet the same as well, to be honest with you. I feel like the thing people got pissed off about there was the trainers and all that kind of stuff, but they've still done quite a lot of cool shit.
People got pissed off for trainer. So let's talk about it, because we didn't talk about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, what was funny with the CloneX FUD yesterday, Ovi, is that people got pissed off of a catalog picture screenshot. Yeah. Without even seeing the real shoe. And then when Z went on Instagram and like literally posted a video of the shoe, it was a whole different story. And so that's what I found funny, because like even as like someone who's like a friend of all three founders, hosted them a bunch of times since their first drop in NFTs. I have a lot of their assets in my vault. I was always critical of like the communications and the missteps with Monolith 2. So I think I'm pretty I've been pretty on it with regards to like not letting the back bias. But when it comes to the product, that's one thing they always nail. Like I have the space strip, like it's right there. I have the Vlone quality leather AF1 from Corey Van Loo.
They have some good shit.
And since when do NFT MFers become like the fashion police?
Right.
Like, last I checked, everybody every day to every conference. You know what I mean? That's not a knock on anyone. That's nice. I love now that I have NFT merch. I'll rock my NFT merch over a lot of merch because I'm proud of it. My cheap little free Rug Radio hoodie we gave to everyone. Like, that's my favorite hoodie, though. God knows I got a whole lot of other hoodies, but it's just like people were just so quick to why it was, though? Because I think people were like, they were on Doodles, on Moonbirds, and needed to come at all the, everyone calls it blue chips. That's another conversation I want to have with you in a second, because I think that we need to show people the definition of what a blue chip stock means for people to understand what blue chip means, because there's no blue chip in NFTs when it comes to utility. And you can't change my mind on that. Like maybe you guys working their way up, but you have to have multiple years of track record and success to be called a blue chip in the stock market. I'm sure you know that better than me. And for us to be calling blue chip companies blue chip just because they raise a whole bunch of money in the middle of the raging bull market doesn't mean anything, right? So, but yeah, that was the artifact for that I thought was funny. Thought that was funny. Ov, I'm gonna try and share some stuff on the screen, but it's just like it just made me laugh because when you look at this, here, look, when you look at this, right? Like, look, this is actually someone shared a jersey, like a football jersey they did for World Cup that they just did. It's actually really good quality, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And someone said, so see, that's one of them. So I guess people got their football jerseys, and I mean soccer for Americans in the room, because it was a World Cup. But even this, like, look, I think this is cool. Like people are judging. This is probably high quality once you like actually receive it. Like people are basing it based on this, but then when you see this, like I don't understand thought around this, and this is just a hat, right? But I just thought it was funny. See, this is the sneaker, right? This is one of the space drips I had made earlier. Like it's actually really high quality, like footwear.
I think they're cool. I guess that's not what people are annoyed about. People are like, well, they're cool, but like, you know, what's in it for me as a holder? And I think
to give you guys a sneak peek.
Here, look, like this is high quality stuff, you know? Like you can see. So it was just funny. That was the fun is about. But then the rest of the stuff, I think, again, like it's like people adding onto, you know, like previous things, right? So it's so I think that's what it was mostly about. It's kind of like thing after thing, and then like people just want to hang on to the little things in order to, you know, look, there it is. Here it is. So this was one of the main FUD tweets, right? And they were sharing this. There you go. I found it. The bottom part is a catalog image, right? So the catalog image, you know, is not the actual sneaker. So that I thought that was funny. I know we didn't talk about it much yesterday, but it's definitely not the way it went. And if anything, their merch is really, really sick. Now, who can say whatever the Monolith 2 stuff and things? You're absolutely right. And
I guess my question is like, I get the merch is sick, but like, why does it need to be an NFT project then? Do you see what I mean? Like that's
I get that. So I think you're making a good point on that, right? Like which is like customer versus community, which a lot of these projects like launches NFT projects and now are either not NFT projects anymore or like changed you to a customer. I think I read a tweet from Mike Doodles this morning that I thought was a fair. So what I wrote personally yesterday, I'll pin my tweet at the top. But I said I understand wanting to expand outside of the Web3 echo chamber, and that is what we're doing, but that should never come at the expense of the core community. As founders, these people made us, they helped us build our brands, and they supported us before we became who we are. Like let that be known. Like Ovi might be a talented artist and great businessman, but like his audience and his following and the people buying his art originally are what made, you know, his name and his brand on top of his work. Same thing goes to me with everything I've built with Rug Radio. Same thing goes with Poopy and Doodles. Same thing goes with Gordon and Garga, Yuga, the boys, Artifact, everybody else. I think it's important to never forget that. I think why Yuga is really on top of things, Ovi, and a lot of people make fun of the Ape diehard fans, but matter of fact, I dream of having, I think we have though, but like any founder should dream of having a community as dedicated as Ape holders, because they have been airdropped so much value that they want to keep their stuff, but also they are diehard fans of the brand and they will use any product. Now, people can claim their products are not good or bad or whatever. It doesn't matter because there's a core audience and community that truly cares about it and that will elevate them no matter what. And those community members become bigger and bigger. And then these endorsements get bigger and bigger. Like it's not just a kid in a, like I know the meme of the ape holder being like some broke guy living the thing, doesn't want to sell his ape, but like that meme is done. Like there's a lot of like Chad holders, you know what I mean? Like that Weitzman guy, Adam Weitzman guy that bought the key, like that guy's a billionaire, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't give a fuck about what you think about Bored Apes, you know? So it's just like things like that. And it's important not to lose those. Like Azuki, to me, is the best example of that. Like when the Zaga FUD happened and everything started going down to 16th, who held it down? It was Dingling. It was the Spirit DAO. It was like the community that doubled down. Drift, I remember, went double down. Like people doubled the fuck down, and the community held it up while they were actually themselves holding Zaga accountable. A lot of people were, the criticism early Azuki FUD was like that the holders should sell because they should FUD Zaga. But what about just holding him accountable within your community and continuing to build? Doesn't mean you have to jump ship. And it happened. And Zaga's thriving. Good for him. And Azuki's thriving. So,
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. I think it shows you that your community can really carry you. But I do think Moonbirds has an amazing Proof of Moonbirds has an amazing community. So does Doodles to an extent. And to be honest with you, probably so did CloneX as well. So
yeah,
you have to keep them on your side.
But there's something about them carrying you and something them buying the asset, right?
Yeah, exactly. For whatever reason, Azuki managed to keep them there, and I think they probably just do a lot of things that the community wants. Like the community is happy. So what those things are, I think will probably vary from project to project. And for one project, it might be like, oh hey, like I love like loads of memes being posted. Another project might be like, oh, I want loads of events or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is just like people just want like someone wrote a response to a tweet that I posted today, and I thought it was like really, really eloquently put. Let me
Which tweet was it?
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
It's your tweet about
This guy said holders just want reassurance that part of the goal is to drive financial value back to them. If it's not, the NFTs will tank, and people who believed otherwise may understandably be fuming. And I think that person's absolutely right. Like, people want to buy into NFT projects, especially those that are like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to have a big roadmap. They want to know that the founders are actually focused on streaming value back to the holders. And it's become very clear that a lot of projects haven't been focused on that. They've been focused on, money for themselves, money for investors, whatever it is, at the cost of NFT holders. So that's a mismatch in expectations, but that you can understand why people are upset.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, you said there's a lot of hate towards some big NFT project, which is understandable. I agree with many of the comments, but also things are way easier said than done. Personally, I'm rooting for founders to show some resilience and be able to bounce back. Of course, like we're always in, like you got to double down in FUD, right? Like I was saying that to Luca yesterday on the timeline. I was like, when there's FUD, and I've been there, like there's FUD, you double down or you're dead. That's literally it. Like FUD could bury you in the space because there's so much attention that can go in other places, and so many people that will outwork you, outdo you, outbeat you, out nice you, out everything you in this space. So you gotta double down on it. I do like this thread by Mike Dudas though. He starts with, I'm stunned by NFT projects in the midst of a bear market with their earliest supporters down bad, saying, sorry, you weren't actually the customer. You were just a financial speculator. We actually took your money to speculatively build some future audience. Thanks, bye. Like, he's not wrong. Like, a lot of times I've said, like, I've bought tops on a few of these projects and it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I've written it, I've said it, and I always say it. So I would never say like, oh, it's Kevin Rose's fault I bought a Moonbirds at 32 ETH. No, that's my dumbass. Yeah. But I think also it's projects that have to also hold like hold the bar to a certain level. Like, yeah, like if people like put you there, I know it's like the market that decided the price, but at the same time, you can't just like dunk on your holders that bought in at different prices because they still bought in because they believe in you. Yeah, right? The Rock Radio holder that bought in over 1 ETH, what? He's all of a sudden less important than the guy who minted at 0.11 ETH?
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. It's not an excuse just to say, oh no, like, and just go do something different. So
yeah,
like you should kind of know, you should also, like I said, there's a mismatch in expectations, but as a founder or creator, you should understand your community's expectations, or at least make some effort to understand it. And that also is the fault of founders, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Freed Seed says it good. But anyway, shout out Freed Seed, always with the dope comments in the YouTube. But says, the skill of the founder lies in handling two types of crowds in the community. One is the profit monger, which is fair, and the other one is the emotionally vested, right? So it's true. There's people in your project just for the money. There's people in your project just for the vibes, like literally, and for the community, right? And for the belief in the project over a long period of time. Value accrued back to the holders doesn't also always mean value accrued back in terms of dollars, because that's when you like get into the whole securities conversation, which is a more touchy subject. But like value accruing back to the community, it can mean many different things, right? And so I think that's what a lot of people fail to acknowledge, is that you don't always have to. most founders, I feel, think that they have to make their holders money, but sometimes if you just focus on keeping your holders happy,
Yeah.
right? It's truly all you need, right? And if you keep your holders happy, engaged, and in the know of what's happening, I think that's something that is you know,
Just holders first, man. Like there's a tweet someone put out again a few weeks ago, just like put your holders first or die. Like that's literally it. It really is. It's not much more complicated than that.
yeah. I totally agree with you. And then he says, I mean, Mike Dudas continues his thread with, if you took millions or tens of millions of dollars from customers, paid yourself handsomely, raised more VC money at astonishing valuations, perhaps sold some secondary, you have a moral and ethical obligation to serve your early customers or stop bitching and leave the internet. That's Mike Dudas' words. You know what? Like, and he's legit. Like he knows his shit, you know, like, and he's invested in a lot of rounds and projects and whatnot, you know, so he doesn't talk out of his ass. And he says many projects actively encourage their customers to speculate with mysterious communications. That's facts. Probably nothing's gonna be huge in a month, more coming soon, heads down on greatness, and now are blaming their customers for being pissed off at non-delivering. Cry me a river. You know what, like,
He's dead right.
Hold on. I got to make sure I like every tweet in there. And he said, if you can't do one thing, hire someone that can. But don't you dare blame the customer for having an expectation of a product you promised. You're rooting it for the rest of us, the people who actually do what they say they're going to do. You know what? It is frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I totally agree to that. You know what, Mike? That is a great thread. I retweeted it for everyone curious, but I'm also going to pin it at the top of this room because I think he said exactly how I feel, and he managed to like really just like encompass it how a lot of people feel into a thread. You know, look, like, you know what's interesting, Ovi? Like, a lot of these people that are saying like, but we never told you like the floor price, because my stance was always like floor price is like, and it should be everyone's stance, like, is the market chose it. But it's true when you look back at town halls or parliaments or different Discord announcements from a bunch of these projects, it was always full of like, this big thing is going to happen, that thing's announced, and it was like the market at the end of the day speculated based on announcements and probably nothings. He's right.
Yeah.
Like, that when he says like many projects actively encourage their customers to speculate with mysterious communications, we all know this is true for like every single project. I mean, I've been around since most of these minted, right? Because none of them, none of them, like, I think they all minted after 2021 in this last run. So we've all seen the mint for the most of the audience that is down here and us on stage here. But it's it's actually such a fair statement from Mike. Like, and my second stance is, a lot of your projects in the space then shouldn't have been NFTs if you're not happy about holders holding you accountable. Like, I've thought about that a lot. Like, I decided to sell NFTs for our media brand. Like, I didn't have to. I could have started a media company in the space that was private, where I decided to do what the fuck I want with money and try to go on a traditional raise and whatnot. Would I have been as successful as it is now? Maybe not. It's probably not. And why? I owe it to the community, therefore. And so at least owe them a little bit of acknowledgement and responses when it comes to the basics, right? I don't know. It's just like things like that. Like, because I see you doing it. Like, you tweeted yesterday, you just bought back. Like, you're at like 300 something reg guys, because you guys have committed to buying back with your proceeds, like secondary or even the proceeds from this show. I know you guys are buying for Rect Radio with the partnership money that you're making. Like, and you communicate with people. Like, it's, I don't know. It seems like it's always been like this, like, friction in the space with regards to that. But I think this is a good convo. I feel like we needed, like, because yesterday was more heated, like, and the time was more heated. It's like, feels good to speak about it more, like,
yeah, definitely.
Like that. What do you think, G-Man? I mean, you're on stage. You and I talk about this a lot. Like, G-Man and I have this conversation a ton in person. So what do you think about Dudas' tweet and like thoughts in general here as someone from the investor side in most of these projects?
Yeah, I think you have laid it out exactly perfectly. We're gonna have rough roads for pure speculative value based on PFP projects in particular. Like, I don't know where we go from here. This is a tough road if you're not really focused on the community and communication.
Yeah. I think there definitely is there's definitely an issue on that front. But the thing with comms, like I was speaking to someone yesterday. I don't want to name, but just I was having a convo with them, and like they were saying like a lot of these companies have hired PR companies and comms companies and whatnot. So is the problem comms, or is the problem the way like a lot of these brands actually hired? And so where's the problem then? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I heard that Moonbirds actually hired a Web3 comms company recently.
Yeah, they have one. They have one.
I'm like really skeptical of that, right? Like outsourcing your comms to me is like super dangerous.
They hired a PR company. We get approached by PR companies a lot ourselves because
it just seems crazy. Like I just don't understand what people are thinking managing these businesses. Like, hey, let's raise a shit ton of money. Now let's hire an external company to manage our PR and comms. It's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You're not like Man United Football Club. Do you know what I mean? You're not the government. You're just a fucking NFT project. Just like say it yourself. Like, hey, Kevin Rose, just do the comms yourself. Or like, if you don't want to do it, then don't put yourself out there as this big founder being the face of a project. Find someone who is. Like, this is the problem. Like, people are just like raising all this money, hiring all these people to do all these jobs who aren't actually like the people who founded the core principles of the project. And then you just have this mishmash of like people put together in a company that just doesn't like work. Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't get it. Like, oh, we need to hire like a comms, we need to hire this, we need to hire that. Like, it's like you're not the president of the United States and you have to have all these like official things. Like NFT collectors like to gravitate towards founders and people who are out there on the front line speaking their thoughts, telling people about their projects, like showing up every day. Like that's what people want to see. So just do that. If you don't want to do that, then don't have an NFT project. Go run a company. Like it's just so basic.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's like what comes with running an NFT biz. So if you can't take it, just don't do it.
Yeah, the problem with that, Ovi, as a day one proof holder, is Kevin tried to do that and he just wasn't good at it. And he went too long without making a change, right? So like he did try to embrace that. And even though he had this hugely successful podcast that he was great on, for some reason, like the front end community facing comms just wasn't good. And I'm still a supporter of Proof and I'm still a holder, but that's been hard. That's been a little tough to watch.
I think he had a great product with Proof, like before Moonbirds. I think I remember it was like the thing everyone was trying to get into, right? And the art drops. Yeah. We even said on the show the art drops have always been fucking sick on that front because obviously Kevin Rose is quite the collector himself, right? And he's one of the people that was early, like the stories of him actually. He's the person who onboarded Gary V, for example, into Punks and this and that. Like there's a lot of stories like that. He's like the OG. I remember even getting to podcasting in the NFT space. He was always the guy, with the Proof podcast. Still is. That podcast bomb still, right? So I think what we're wrong is going to the PFP type game, and then I was writing back and forth. Like it's not even FUD. It's just like going back and forth with SC1K, who's our Rug Radio Whale and biggest holder. But he was saying out of the 4 Doodles, Clone, and Moonbirds that he says I would say Moonbirds. Their dip has more to do with SVB Saga than anything else in my O. And I like Kevin Rose's commitment to Web3, which is not to be dismissed. It's true. And I was like, I don't think it's related to SVB. I think it's like more on the failure to deliver like on the promises and the cancellation of like the Proof conference, which was a big hit. And then like the SVB was more on the little things, like kind of like Artifact, how people try to hang on to the little things in order to bring you down at this stage, or like Doodles, like how like Poopy, like because it's like pent up, and then like they hang on to one sentence he wrote and think not understanding that what he meant by we're not an NFT project is we're building outside of just the NFT eco chamber, right? Maybe put that way would have made more sense, but people start nitpicking when they're really angry. Like even with me, there was a point where I fumble after fumble, and even if I do the little thing, which I think is not wrong, people will nitpick and add it to the basket. And I think for these founders, I wrote a tweet. I should have put it out yesterday. I'll put it out. Like there was many times where I never thought it was my fault, and I would always think like, why is everything happening to me? Until realize like maybe I'm the problem. And I think a lot of founders like have to like put their ego aside. Like, yeah, you had high floors, but get off your high horse now. Like, it's not 2021 bull market. Like, get off that high horse. And you know what? Like, get back in the gutter and start from zero, and start from the mud. Like, act like you just minted out and just go. And maybe you're the problem. Like, right, Kevin or Poopy or Benoit or, in some cases it was me or anybody else. Like, sometimes you just got to take it to the chin and like, you know, like it's not FUD, it's criticism. Take it as a man, a woman, and then just fucking go. You know, like.
Yeah, I think it's like it's having some awareness of where you've gone wrong or maybe where you've not been perfect, and just taking a step back and be like, okay, shit, maybe I fucked this up and maybe it wasn't right here. What can I do to amend it? And I think people having egos is part of the problem, and maybe not admitting their mistakes or just choosing not to acknowledge them. You know, I think that's part of the problem as well. Like you have to, sometimes you just be like, look, I fucked up or I messed this up or this didn't go the way I wanted it to go, or I lost my cool, I lost my temper, I, you know, gave into the FUD, whatever it is. And I think you just have to like take a step back and be like, okay, like maybe this doesn't work. Let's restart and let's have a think about this and how to change it. And I just don't really see enough people doing that. I just see people getting angry with the community or just, you know, whatever it is, like refusing to acknowledge their mistakes, not thinking they're wrong. And look, if enough people are saying something that's making them unhappy and they're your holders, then you can't just sit there and be adamant that what you're saying is right, because at the end of the day, you are managing a community. And if you don't want to manage a community, then you shouldn't have had an NFT product in the first place and promised what you promised. So
Yeah, I think that's what it is, for the most part. But I guess we'll see where that goes. I mean, there's the, if anyone's want to have fun and follow the poll, it's out there. I did I pin it at the top? I'm pinning at the top right now. But there is the poll out there. I'm just curious to see where actually you, like Ovi, I don't think you hold any of the 4 projects, right? Doodles, clones, Moonbirds, and cats.
none of them yet. Never have actually.
No, what do you mean? You had like 30 cats.
Oh, cats. Yeah, we had cats. Sorry.
Doodles, CloneX, Moonbirds, cool cats. Which one do you which one would you bet on to bounce back from their lows? Because I don't think we see any all-time highs. Now we can talk about this another time, but what do you think? Which one do you think bounces back from their lows?
I think CloneX. I've got my bet on CloneX because I think
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think their stuff looks really cool, and I think they're obviously a very talented team, and I think they also seem to like understand the mistakes they've made as well. Like I don't think they're not hiding behind something and like getting. I think they're just they've been quiet for a while as well. So I would like to think they're thinking, okay, how do we fix this, and let's take some time to try and fix it. So.
For what it's worth, when they fumbled with Monolith 2, I remember them having an emergency Twitter Spaces where they answered to the community and whatnot, and then spoke to that. Though the fumble was pretty bad, but they've been trying to since, and I've seen them, you know, be more and more vocal in general as well. But it's I guess we'll see. You know what? I mean, look, I vote with my wallet. These put a good tweet out. I was like, look, in this space, you vote with your wallet. So I vote with my wallet. My wallet says CloneX. We'll see that, but that doesn't mean like I'm still like not bearish on like Moonbirds or Doodles and Cat's ability to like bounce back and build brands. I think they're very well funded. I mean, I don't know how Cats are funded personally speaking, but I'll speak for Doodles and Moonbirds. They're very well funded people that they have talent at the end of the day, right? Like the CEO Doodles, a homie, Julian, we've hosted him. This guy's not a bozo, you know. And at the end of the day, they do have great activations, good branding, and good funding. You know, I have a hard time seeing Kevin Rose or let's say Proof ecosystem not bouncing back. At least it doesn't mean it'll be 40 ETH floor, 3K ETH again, which I think that'll never happen for most projects. But it doesn't mean that it won't like, you know, succeed as a company. So, but does that mean it'll succeed to the holding of the NFT? Now that's different. But I don't think the companies themselves, like, I don't think they'll fail. And like you said, like the founders who show resilience and keep going, and, you know, and who knows, maybe they'll hire like some big time CEO to come and revamp it, or some of these brands and companies, or, you know, just, you never know, like teams get built around them and things change. Right. So it really takes a little bit to flip the switch on a company / project in the space.
Yep. No, I agree.
It's quite simple. Anyways, so with that, what do I have next? So the summoning, did you get your mecha apes yet?
We did, yeah. Well, they're not mecha apes. Sorry, it's called heavy metal.
I'm sorry, the heavy metal. Yeah.
We did, yeah. I mean, we kind of messed up a bit, to be honest with you, because we sold some of our sewer passes, like the common ones, to the tier 1 ones to buy the tier 4 ones.
The tier 4 turns out is like the same shit.
It's basically the same shit, because you need to be like in the top 4,000 to get like something good. So
no, I'm so bummed.
Yeah, so we just like, it was kind of a bit dumb because we ended up selling like a bunch of them and bought back like way fewer of them, and they were trading at like 3x the original ones. So
I know. Trust me, I sold 2 passes to buy and I added 1 ETH to buy a tier 4, thinking that tier 4 would get me more points, but also get me something better, companion wise, whatever. And then I realized that my tier 4 is just actually not that useful, and I should have played more and try to score top 4,000.
You had to play more, I think. Yeah, you had to play more.
Did you see Garga dunk on me yesterday?
Garga?
Yeah.
No, what happened?
Garga came for me. Okay, so when I moderated his panel in Paris, he dunked on me 4 times, saying that I was the worst. He's saying that him and Gordon would make fun of me behind the scenes playing Dookie Dash. And then Wave yesterday tweeted, "So who got the lowest Dookie Dash score, and did they do anything special to achieve it?" And Garga tagged me. And I'm here like, yo. I DM'd him after that. I was like, you motherfucker. Yeah, that was a legendary dunk. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie, getting dunked on by the founder of the biggest NFT company in the space here and there. But here it is. So here they are, 2.14 ETH floor. Look, that's a success when you think about it. 7,200 ETH in volume traded already. 16.8K assets with 7,400 holders, not bad. Garga said in NFT Paris on the panel that Dookie Dash grew the Yuga Labs ecosystem at 40%. So that was the biggest stat for me. That was the biggest stat. It's big, yeah, it's big. And while growing it, it's also maintaining floors across the board.
Growing the number. I'm curious. I'd love to know. I guess that's growing it by the number of NFTs. I would love to know.
I don't know if it's number of NFTs or number of people involved.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what that measure is. If it's number, that's a big difference. If it's number of unique holders versus number of NFTs, and if it's the former, it's obviously very, very.
I'm pretty sure it's number of holders, but I'm just gonna DM Garga real quick.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's really good for the ecosystem, if that's what it is.
I'm just gonna I'm just gonna ask Garga real quick, but I'm pretty sure it was the ecosystem grew by 40%. But what's crazy is there was this heavy metal box number 7 that sold 45 ETH. Heavy sale of a sewer pass or a power source yet. So that's whatever's in there. We'll find out end of March, I believe. Right? It's pretty wild. There was a stat of how much money was left off the table by people who didn't claim their sewer pass. It was $17 million or something. It's pretty wild because only 17K were claimed, but there was 30,000 total. No, there was 20 something claimed, and there was 30K total because it was 1 per mutant ape. It's pretty crazy, right?
That's insane. Yeah,
it was not claimed. It was tens of millions of dollars. But yeah, per their here, it seems, we don't have to go over the summoning a lot because there's nothing much more, but it says summoning March 15th. This happened. Remember to go and do so. You can also delegate your assets. So if you delegated your wallet, like I delegated my wallet, I could mint it from a hot that's safe or whatnot. So remember, you can delegate .cash. Remember to just straight up use delegate .cash for almost everything you do, y'all. Just always good to say and put it. We need to have Fubar to come back just to explain more about delegate cash. Would be cool if it's out. I know we've had Fubar on before, but just so we can get
it's such a good tool. It's so good, honestly. I've been using it now for everything. So
yeah,
awesome.
Now we can get a quick little 5-minute segment for the YouTube, and people can have their thing to go to for delegate cash. But then mega types will reveal end of March. And lastly, before we pass on to our partners today, there is the DGods ordinals. The sale was starts today, I believe, but it was marked by the first one. The original Frank DGods PFP just sold for 44,256 dust, which was at the time, I don't know what dust is at now, 3.25 Bitcoin, which is nearly 50 ETH. And so it was the first one, the inscription. And then the sale kicks off of the other DGods, Bitcoin DGods, which are selling for a price of 0.44 ETH. So from what I've seen, and they didn't go for the auction and whatnot based on the floor price of a DGod. So the floor price of a DGod is around 6 ETH. It's been in the 5 to 6 ETH range for a minute now. I think 5.5 to 6.25 because ETH is so volatile too, so it doesn't help. But so it's been around that. But so that was her price. That was kind of the thoughts. What do you think here? It's not the best. Not the best person to quote here, but Gainsey had something to say. Dude, I think he's off here, but it's still just like it's just funny. I don't know if you had seen that. There was a bunch of people that that weren't happy about that. But Frank, you know, of course, like that's someone that's built into the FUD, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like, you know, that still will start there. Are you gonna get one? Are you gonna get a Bitcoin DGod, Ovi?
I am still not convinced by the output on ordinals. Like, I understand ordinals as a concept, but I don't love the actual NFTs on them.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. There's nothing that I've seen that's like, oh, I want to collect that because I like the art. You know what I mean? So, it's a tough one.
It seems like it's a first come, first serve. You got to load up more than 0.444 Bitcoin in your wallet. You save your Bitcoin address, save your ordinals address. It's kind of like when the Pepe drops, you know, when on the pawn shop, on the Pepe website, it's like first come, first serve. And then they refund you if you've like, they basically like they've been running that system forever, right? The Pepe, what the fuck? So it's like, and then they refund you in the next 24 to 48 hours if you're not part of the first, let's say 69, about the edition of 6.9. So I've been doing this for a minute. It's pretty fun. I remember it was like 3 p.m. every day. It was like you had to be on the website, and some of them were going under a minute. This shit was absolutely batshit crazy, and so it was always something fun. Just quickly, Redbeard was good.
What's
here?
up?
Are you buying Bitcoin DGods? You're a big ordinals guy.
No.
That's a thoughtful answer.
I just got a bunch of addresses. I got like redbeardart.btc.
Damn.
And I also look here, Brooke, you're gonna like this. I'll plug it to the front. I've decided to put my soul on the blockchain, and I thought it was about time that I do that. So
Wait,
here.
You inscribed your soul?
Yeah, I just pinned it to the top.
What does that mean?
I decided that it was time for me to take my soul and put it on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Oh, so your soul is now an ordinal.
That's correct.
Interesting.
I am ordinal 492293.
It reminds me of when Kevin Nabush was saying he like minted his blood into the Ethereum blockchain. So right, it was Kevin Nabush, right? That said that on this Ovi. So I thought,
is it a Bush or a Bosch?
A Bush? I say a Bush because it's French, no? Is Kevin Nabush?
The Bosch?
No, he's surely is German.
Yeah. No, he's not.
A Bosch.
Anyways, we'll ask him. You know, Kevin's
Frank has a little difficulty with pronunciation.
Yeah, I have a little difficulty with English. Apparently, I'm ever since the Gilligalians. You know, I've had a lot of troubles with languages, right? That's what's been hurting me. So, Elric Ruben Ross, Redbeard NFT. I've decided that I want to live forever. So I stored this picture that includes my soul onto the Bitcoin blockchain. My soul lives now, ordinal 492293. I am one with Satoshi. Congratulations, Redbeard, on the incredible inscription.
After my children being born, this is maybe one of the proudest moments in my life.
I like that. Honestly, it's pretty cool. We're gonna pass on to our guest today, but quickly, Redbeard, you did write your own thoughts yesterday with regards to what's happening in the space. So I'm counting down. If you want to give me the TLDR of what you said in a minute about what's going down with the projects and different founders, because I thought that was a good tweet.
I don't remember what I tweeted.
It was the EOS one.
Oh, yeah. Just very quickly, what I was saying was that we want to believe that we are in some sort of new paradigm shift that's going to change everything very quickly, and all this jazz that we've been told and promises that we're going to be artists that are going to have a super microeconomy that's going to change everything. While all those things may be true, the truth is that we build an entire ecosystem is going to take time, and the cycles that we are in currently are no different than the cycles that were here before. You know, I had bags and bags of coins, and I promise you, they used the same type of narrative. They said, "Oh, we're going to change this. We have this. We're going to do this. We're going to make the connections with these companies." and everybody believed the same things, and the same things happened. Most of them just went off to nothing. And I'm not saying that every NFT project is that way, but this is how you build. It's a foundation. From the seeds. I think Dee said, from the seeds of destruction come, the towers that you build. And I think that people have to remember those things. As much as you love something and you want to believe in it, and I have a lot of conviction in the space of certain things, there's times when things just don't work out. And I don't think that every person is a bad founder. I think a lot of them are trying. And I think that their pivots that they're going to do into the Web2 world is honestly, in my opinion, probably the right moves, because there's just not enough people here to sell digital assets to. I think that some people could be a little bit crude when they do it, and probably some are really doing it behind the scenes that you would be shocked about. And I'm hearing about doing VC funding. So and they, because everybody understands that this is about survival. I don't have any active traders. I was talking to NFT statistics once. He thinks there's I don't know, remember his number was 5,000 active traders right now or something like that. There's just not a lot of people who are trading, and enough to build a whole company and a brand. It's going to take a lot of time. So I think people just need to be really patient with what they're doing, but at the same time realize that if you could take out profits and you have to pay your rent, or you don't own a property, or there's things that you need to do for your family, there's nothing more important than taking that profit for cash. As much as I love crypto and I love everything about it, those are the things that are really important. And lastly, I would say, for the artists in this space, I think things still can get rough, but you have to understand that, it took Andy Warhol. He started the factory in 1963. It wasn't until in the early 70s that he really became a somebody. And he basically begged, borrowed, and sealed until he could actually make it. And I think that we can't deny ourselves the fact that things might seem like they're easy, but it's not going to be as fast as we want it to be. That's in a nutshell.
That's pretty fair. That's well said. The chat seems to agree with you on YouTube, because we are also on YouTube. For anyone wondering, we are on YouTube. The tweet is pinned at the top, but also pinned at the top. Redbeard, did you mint your Farouk Lisa, Ovi Lisa, and Mando Lisas?
No, I have to do that now. That's why I came on. So what do? I go to
you go to the pinned tweet. You go to the pinned tweet. It's one of them on fair.xyz, and you go. They're free mints. So make sure you mint your free.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah, they're totally free.
Oh, I did. This is the first time seeing these. These are amazing.
These are great.
Ovi, I would make out with you. You look very sexy here. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know how to respond to that, but the feeling is mutual.
You're a good-looking Mona Lisa. I'm just saying,
Oh my God, that is so good. I need to mint my own. I think they made open till 12:30. Thank God. I'm gonna.
How do they do this? Can I get one of me with my beard? This is amazing.
You gotta ask the fair team. It's 100%.
I gotta ask these guys. All right, I'm gonna go mint now, so you can go to do your. You don't have to listen to hear me speak, but these are amazing.
I love that. This is so
but you need 50 photographs, I think, right, Farouk? Is that what I heard him say?
Yeah, I think you do. Oh my God. That's so funny. So far, some people are asking about the competition and how it's going. Farouk Lisa, there is 695 minted. Ovi Lissa, there is 649 minted. And I think Mando's been slipping. Mando's at 511. Make sure you mint your Mando Lisa, or else he's gonna feel pretty bad. Because he's quite behind us, right? When it comes to those. But yeah, the Ovi one is truly a jam. So they're free mints, everyone. Absolutely free mints. And then you can claim a t-shirt if you want to claim it, that you have to pay for, of course. But it's all for fun. Shit and giggles. Of course, no strings attached to that. But anyways, I do want to pass to our partners of the day, the Glimmering team. I already see Jamie.eth in the audience. Let me bring him up. And in the back, Stu over here. Let me add Kyle Mortensen and Brantalicious, co-founders. How y'all doing, GM? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
GM, good morning. How y'all been?
We're vibing. We're vibing hard.
We're
It's been a fun show today.
Yeah, I mean, Fridays are always a little more like chill, like back, like we have fun. We can have the harder conversations, but in a more like chill manner. We don't have to go so hard. It's
And
mostly
it's St. Patty's Day.
Pardon?
And it's St. Patty's Day.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
exactly.
That's
Happy
right.
St. Patty's Day, everybody! Hell yeah! I know. I'm gonna have a couple of brewskis with the boys later tonight. There's a little St. Patty's Day little thingy. I'm in Montreal, so the second biggest St. Patrick's Day parade is after New York is in Montreal. The Sunday of St. Patty's weekend. So I think I don't go downtown for that because it usually gets like insane. But Friday night, Saturday night, it gets a little fun in the city here.
Down here in New Orleans, they take St. Patrick's Day like a second Mardi Gras. It is rowdy as hell. A bunch of people have been drinking probably since 5 a.m.
So last week, one of my boys, and he's from the UK, but he lives in Montreal. And at 9 a.m., he texts the group chat and he goes, "Just realized it's not St. Patrick's Day today. It's next week, but I've already had my first beer at 9 in the morning."
You're there. Why turn back? Keep
I was
going.
like, "Oh, Jeffrey." Oh, Jeffrey, out of all people, it's always my friend Jeffrey, and it just made me laugh a lot. And we also have Jimmy.eth on the Twitter Spaces. What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, King?
What up? What up? It was good to see you last week, man.
Dude, we talk about an event, huh?
Yeah, that was incredible. Did you get any Beeple airdrops?
So actually on stage, G-Man is still on here. G-Man put a 5.5 WETH bid in for the one of ones, and someone hit.
What?
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Okay,
What is the reply? And then that person sold another one for 13 ETH. But 5.5 WETH. I mean, G-Man, you literally won the lottery here.
Yeah, it was so fun. It reminded me of the good old days when it was fun. So I got to give a lot of credit to Loxley. He helped me find the wallet address through the bracelet, and so I had offers in before it really hit the radar screen. Got super lucky. I'm still in shock.
It's pretty cool. So I mean, this is 10K payday for someone who went to the Beeple event. So at the end of the day, you can't even style shame that. It's like, you made 10 grand for just showing up to one of the most historical events in the history of NFTs.
I mean, I love that he actually did a physical airdrop.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck does that? Beeple does that.
Yeah. My co-CEO Loxley managed to get one. So he
I
actually got one.
I have an edition. Yeah, I caught one. It's all like crinkled and shit. I'm thinking about just taking a piece of Scotch tape and sticking it to my fridge.
Yeah, I mean, they came in these. I have the tube here. I'm showing it on video, but we got the tubes, and I have a few of them, but they didn't come with the NFTs. But I have an edition of 6 here, the Mike signed. But one of them was NFT, and so I have a couple of them, but they're all messed up. See, that's an edition of 270 of the Long Road. Actually, that's the final one that came out like this. So these physicals, Brent and Kyle, were like coming out of the sky. So there was 6 printers in different parts of the room, and they would come down randomly from a different part of it, and you could catch them. And it was mayhem.
Did you have the alpha, Farouk, that it was going to happen?
No, not at all. And I was there an hour prior to set up my interviewing stuff, and we had no clue. So
I had the alpha. Someone told me. Someone told me to watch the sky, and then I told a couple of people what I had been told, and we found these boxes, and we're like, we should stand under the boxes. So we were standing under the boxes when that shit happened.
Cheaters. This is recorded. Yeah. This is a recorded Twitter space and a recorded YouTube. Kyle, the audience seems to want to hear you do a solo here. I know you're meant to talk about the Glimmering here, and we're going to talk about what y'all are up to with your game and everything, because I know you got up to some good stuff because you brought Jimmy on stage. But but are you going to hit a solo at the end or what?
Oh man, actually, I'm not set up for that. I don't actually have an amplifier in my room because I'm making a record right now, so everything's just going directly into the box.
I think he's full of it. This dude sits on our all-team calls every week with his guitar on his lap and he noodles.
You know what, Brent? I was getting the vibe that he was full of shit saying that, just so you know. He's just stressed out. He's scared to do it on Rug Radio on the live YouTube. Just play with you. But Brett, Kyle, Jamie, it's a pleasure to have you guys on the show today. So let's start from the go. Maybe I can give you guys a minute to just introduce yourselves. We'll go with Brent first, then Kyle, and then of course, I mean, Jimmy, I think everyone knows you, but if you want to give yourself a quick intro, and then we'll get into what the Glimmering is and whatnot. So Brent, I mean, floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks again for having us out, y'all. Delighted to be here. Name's Brent McCrossin, Brentalicious on Twitter. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gripner. which is a media company that's bringing tabletop role-playing games to the blockchain with our first game world called TheGlimmering.
The Glimmering. That's pretty cool. We do have a video also to show on the stream in a second here. And then Kyle, go right ahead.
Yeah, my name's Kyle Mortensen. I'm a co-founder and the creative director at Gripner and TheGlimmering. I was actually a client of, or I should say, Patrick Comer, our co-founder, was a client of mine. My agency, I run a creative agency called New Science, and we did the rebranding for his company called Lucid. So that's how I knew Patrick years ago. And he called me up out of the blue with this crazy fucking idea, introduced me to Brent, and here I am 16, 17 months later.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then last but not least, Jimmy, what's up, fam?
What up? What up? Hey, I'm Jimmy.eth, and I am primarily known for having the best hair of an NFT.
Yo,
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He pulled up on me at the people thing. He's like, "Oh, I should have known you were here. I wouldn't have tied my hair up for the hair off." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, Jimmy.eth. Okay." He's solid numbers. He's a solid number 2, though. I gotta say, he's got luscious locks. That's for sure. And he
does. Your hair is incredible, man. So I'll take the number 2.
You crack me up. By the way, Jimmy, I have the footage of our interview at Deeples, and it's really cool and cute and everything else. But
sweet.
yeah,
no, on the real though, like I'm just excited to be here today. Brett and Kyle, their whole team, they're building something pretty cool with tabletop RPGs, and it's exciting to be able to bring the Board 8 Mutant Club into the Glimmering world. Like that's in their villains. Like I'm so excited to see how like these characters come to life.
Well, I love that. So before we even get started with the Glimmering, then let me just quickly play the trailer that we got, right? It's just a minute long. We'll play the trailer, and then let's get right into Brent Delicious. Like, Brent, I'll ask you straight away, like, what the Glimmering is, and maybe you can give people some more light on what's up. And so here you go. Let's play this baby right
beyond the world of light and shadow. Danger calls. For the glimmer beckons all who dare. Its mysterious shimmer spreading wisdom and terror across the Moonstone Empire, where mortal races seek glory and riches by any means necessary, and thirst for adventure and secrets of the occult, where tales of legend and myth live for eternity unchained. In this world, anything is possible. So kick down the door and take what's yours. The Glimmering awaits.
Damn, the audio is pretty cool on the Sony's, not gonna lie. It's pretty gangster. I don't think we've ever done that, play a trailer for a partner on screen like that, and I thought that was pretty gangster. So TTRPG, The Glimmering. So that leads to I ask you, Brent, what is The Glimmering?
The Glimmering is a fascinating world where danger, adventure, and rewards lurk, right? So this whole idea came up. My buddy Patrick Comer, I've been friends with him for about 13 years. I had started a company up in Seattle. I moved back home in New Orleans to open office here, and he had just come to town to build his company. And for the last few years, I've been running a startup studio, and my job is just as managing director of that has been to create companies. In the late summer of 21, Patrick called me and he's like, "Hey man, I got this crazy idea. I want to run it by the studio." And I was curious why the hell he would even have it, because the dude was running, a massive company with offices in 3 different continents, 500 plus employees, but whatever. He's a good friend and he's a brilliant entrepreneur. So I figured I'd take the meeting. And he showed up in the office and he's like, "Look, man, I came across this project called Loot for Adventurers. And I'm like a massive lifelong D&D fan. And I saw this thing. I'm like, all of this is like the iconography for tabletop games and D&D type stuff. And there's no gameplay. Like we just need to make a game. And it makes sense, right? Because if you play in tabletop games to develop your character, you're rolling dice. Those dice rolls are data points that inform how the character develops. When you're playing the game and you try to take an action, you're rolling dice to determine the game outcomes. That's all data, right? So the idea of enabling an organized play system for tabletop gaming just made like technological sense, right? And there's 40 million people that play that game, and obviously with the things like Stranger Things, the Netflix show, it's just growing leaps and bounds. You've got distributed cultures. People are all over the world, but they're interacting on Zoom calls, Twitch streams, and Discord. And you're seeing more and more gameplay happening in a distributed environment. So it just made perfect sense. I agreed to run the process through the startup studio, just kind of ideate, validate, and we got pretty excited about it. And I came back to him like, look, the studio would be happy to support it. Like, where do you want to go with this? Who are you thinking about on the team? And he's like, I was hoping you'd say that because I want you to be my co-founder and CEO. So the bastard totally tricked me into this gig, and I love him for it. But I was still curious, like, why the fuck is he focusing on this right now? And the second we decided to spin it out, the news broke that Patrick sold his company for $1.1 billion. I'm like, that's why you were looking around the corner for what's next. And really, at the end of the day, he was using the kind of ideation and validation process as a way to distract him from that really stressful deal, right? So that's how it all came to be. And he's a lifelong D&D fan and player. I've played off and on all my life because I had an older brother who sucked me into it. But neither one of us are game designers. So I've had a friend who is a game designer. He introduced me to a dude named Stephen Radney McFarland, who's designed for D&D and Paizo for 22 years. We instantly had Kyle on board before we even got started with Stephen. And Kyle's approach to this with his creative brain is like, look, man, the NFT space is going this direction, and I want to move it in a completely opposite way. This game is all about action and adventure, and we need artwork that reflects that. So he brought on a guy named Angry Blue, whose real name is Justin, who's done work for Metallica, Foo Fighters, Roger Waters, you name it. He's got work hanging in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we had Angry Blue on the team, and he started looking at it. And it's not a single PFP, right? I mean, there's 8 ancestries. Ancestry could be like an orc, a tiefling, a human, etc., with 12 classes, right? Wizards, fighters, rogues, the rest. And within 48 hours, Justin called us and he's like, guys, like, when do y'all want to launch this thing? Like, within the year. He's like, there's no fucking way that this is going to happen. Like the volume of artwork we need to produce, like I can't do that by myself. So he brought in Dan, who goes by OmniGraphicon, is his right-hand man illustrator, and another guy, John, who's our lead colorist, who's credited on every Marvel and DC comic that's come out in the last 10 years. And next thing you know, like we had this art team, we had this game design team. We obviously have myself, Kyle, and Patrick, and then our engineers, which is the startup studio that I run, is attached to a dev shop here in New Orleans. That's got about 70 engineers, designers, and product people. So the CTO of Revelry became the CTO of Gripner very quickly. We staffed up a shit ton of engineers and just started building. And here we are, guys. I mean, it's all happening, right? So the collection's coming on March 30th. We're launching it. And we're going to do something that I have not seen done in the Web3 world yet. Maybe it's been done. I haven't noticed it. If it has, it's been pretty rare. And we're just going to be fucking crazy. On March 30th, we're not just launching the collection. We're actually launching the on-chain game platform at the very same time, right? So all the chips are on the table. It's gone extremely deep on this. And the results, I think they speak for themselves, right? If you get into the artwork, there's 43,000 hand-drawn art layers that make up the collection. And because that wasn't enough, Kyle decided to get even crazier. My other company that I started, AudioSocket's a music licensing technology company. We hired AudioSocket. We pulled in some of their composers to create custom scores. And then we pulled in some animations. So the collection, all the player characters not only have the beautiful artwork for their ancestry and their class, but they also have animated visuals behind them. And then they've got a soundtrack that's unique to each one of them based on the ancestry itself. So we may have overdone it, but it looks stunning and it's special. And as we started to build on all this stuff, we got in contact with Jimmy through some mutual friends and started thinking about, well, what is this game world like? How does the Glimmering expand over time? And as we got into the conversation, it was like, man, the mutant apes are like custom fit for this world. Like, just make them badass villains, weaponize the crap out of them with spells and weapons, and let's let the heroes and the mutants just go run amok together in the world of Osawa, which is where the Glimmering takes place.
Yeah, that's super cool. So it says it, and I love that you said picked up on that. You said you're launching with the game, right? So it's true. Like I don't know if you're the first one, not because I don't want to claim that, but I think you would be very rare indeed. Like you said, like launching with the actual game instead of raising and then, you know, potentially launching with the game. 8 ancestries, 43,000 hand-drawn pieces of art, 100+ art attributes. I mean, damn, your artist definitely worked a lot on this, or a team of artists. Right? Like, I mean, you're the creative director, Kyle. I don't know if maybe you want to talk to the art before we get into the whole, you know, the blockchain, yada yada yada. But Kyle, talk to us about the art, because it's pretty cool. I was just here. I'll put the gallery. By the way, if you're on Spaces, this is one of the first times we do this. Our partners are on here with us on the YouTube stream, and I'm like sharing on video if you're trying to catch a video of what we're saying, and I'm sharing this on the gallery now. But talk to us a little bit more about the art side of things, Kyle.
Yeah, so actually click on one of the JPEGs.
Yeah.
So you can see what the full NFT artwork looks like. It's generating right now, that Brent was alluding to. But yeah, so there you go. You can hit the volume. That's what the whole card looks like. You know, initially when we were doing this, like PFP, everything was just PFP. But, you know, D&D is action, it's gameplay, it's movement. So we wanted to go more in a direction that made you feel like you were sort of in the battle or in the scene with the character. And truth be told, if, you know, time and money was no object, we'd probably still be grinding on that. I think initially we wanted each each class to have its own pose, and that just overcomplicated things. So we kind of simplified it, and the team was absolutely brilliant, especially Dan, in sort of figuring out those puzzle pieces and how we could make that work. I mean, if you think about it, 8 ancestries, 12 classes, the amount of weapons, armor, skin tone, hair color, hairstyle. I mean, I think honestly, I mean, Brent, you did the math on this, but I believe that we could probably worth of like 30 million NFTs that would be completely unique.
The combinations are in the tens of millions of possibilities, at least, just because of the 43,000 layers.
Just to clarify, they're not dropping 30 million NFTs.
No, hell no.
They could have generated 30 million individual NFTs based on how many traits there are. I'm going through them. These are fun.
Yeah, it's been really cool because, you know, as you're going through this process, you know, we're on our own end, like we're going into our Photoshop files and we're creating, you know, NFTs to show for marketing purposes. But then it was like, man, what the hell is the computer going to come up with, you know? And so when we first minted the initial 150, it was really interesting to see what combinations came out of it. There was stuff we had never seen before, even had really anticipated. So it just, you know, it continues to evolve. I mean, just the NFTs was the first challenge. Then it was, how do we, you know, create an art style and visuals around the world itself? The trailer was kind of the first dive into that. And then we started building out the homelands and getting the descriptions from our game designer, Steven. Okay, here's how I see this world. And then the artists have to take that, create a visual around it, put an expression to it. There's a little bit of back and forth. It just continues to evolve. And, you know, we're already, you know, we started kicking the tires this week on, you know, what are these mutants potentially going to look like? How do you take, you know, Jimmy's mutant apes and have them mutate and become part of the Glimmering world as some like really badass villains? What does that experience look like? So that's sort of the next iteration of where we're at right now.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I went through a bunch of traits and whatnot. So definitely art wise, it's really really nice. Yeah, 43,000 hand drawn layers. That is this is actually incredible. And Idol picked onto the music, right? Does every one of them come up with a different beat?
It's unique to the homeland. Yeah, it's unique to the homeland. So there's a handful of set ones, but you know, it just depends on what the dice roll.
Cool. That's really cool. Damn it, you didn't create 42,000 individual songs, guys. Come on, Kyle. We got to get more guitars back there.
Totally slacking.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the wheel, bro. but Brett, back to you. I have a question for you. The Glimmering is the world's first 5e TTRPG on the blockchain. what is a 5e TTRPG for someone like me who doesn't necessarily know what that is?
Yeah. Appreciate that question. So 5e means 5th edition, right? And 5th edition is a rule set that was created by Dungeons and Dragons themselves. So to be clear, like we're not Dungeons and Dragons, we're Gripner creating the Glimmering. But that 5e rule set is basically open source. So D&D themselves 22 years ago created something called the Open Gaming License that really permits other third-party publishers like ourselves to build on top of and create this kind of content. And that's the rule set that we're on, is the 5th edition rule set.
Got it. Okay. And that's okay. Wow. That's pretty impressive. And then when it comes to blockchain, right? Because I think that's important, because you say in your you say beginning March 30th, you can mint a hero from our Genesis collection of playable characters. In order to mint, you need to be on our allow list. To earn your spot, join the Discord, play the game, and get involved to this. That's something cool that someone picked up on in their comments as well before I even did. Is that you actually have to be involved in the community to be able to enter the allow list, which is really cool, because you want people that are involved in the community that actually care for it, which is really cool. Just heads up, I did pin to the top. We do have 500 allow list spots to the Rug Radio community specifically. Thank you for that, by the way. I always,
of course,
when it's proper projects, I think it's cool to give allow list. So I pinned them at the top. So if you're a Rug Radio holder, pretty sure if any of our assets, you can enter the allow list spot. But let's talk about the blockchain, right? And to no surprise, it seems like you've picked Polygon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons for that, but the key reason is that for Gripner and TheGlimmering, all of the player character NFT data is on chain, right? Which is also somewhat rare in the space. And we didn't do that to be like clever or prove some kind of technological sophistication. We did it because it was a requirement, right? Your player character has stats and ability scores. Every time you play a game and the game concludes and you haven't died, then we report the game outcomes back to your character NFT. And to do that on an L1 would be so prohibitively expensive from a gas fees perspective that Polygon was the obvious choice, right? And when you play the game, the data gets reported back to the NFT. And the way that we've architected not only the system, but also the modulations and the art layers, that as you play over time, your NFT character visually and sonically will start to morph based on your gameplay outcomes, right? So doing all of that on Polygon makes it extremely gas efficient. I think when we did phase 1 mint in October, we would put 150 on offer, as Kyle said. We're rolling out the 10,000 collection in a phased approach. And the reason we did just the 150 was for two purposes. One, we wanted to reward folks who had been there for us before we ever went public and announced this thing. And then two, my buddy who is the head of runs Revelry proper, we have another friend who's well known. I won't name him here, but he has a collection. And when they were getting ready to mint, there was all kinds of issues with the art layer rendering in odd ways, like arms coming out of heads and eyes on necks and just fucked up shit. And he called me. He's like, dude, there's no way this shit's going to work, Brent. You got too much complexity. It's going to render incorrectly. Obviously, we had done a bunch of testing on the back end, but we wanted to make sure that we could go ahead and mint this phase 1, and it worked perfectly. But what we also observed in that is that the gas fees to mint were like 5 cents, right? So Polygon's extremely efficient. Living in New Orleans, which is, going to be underwater any day now with sea level rise and all the rest, I concern myself with environmental impacts as well. And I like the fact that Polygon is basically carbon neutral at this point. And it felt like the right decision.
No, absolutely. We're big Polygon fans on the show. We've had Ryan, CEO Fwiz, on the show a couple times.
Shout out Ryan.
Yeah, shout out Ryan. I mean, Ryan, you guys must have, I guess, we're closer to Ryan on that front.
Well, the Polygon team has been extremely supportive of us. We actually collaborated on a blog post today, this week, that's going to get published. Okay. I have not spoken with Ryan directly, but I DM'd him yesterday and just thanked him for the team's support. And obviously happy to take an audience with him anytime. Deeply respect what he's done. And Polygon's just killing the game, y'all. I mean, they were really crushing it out there.
Yeah, they're definitely crushing the game, especially when it comes to Web3 gaming, right? Definitely a big fan of that. Just quickly for our listeners, 70 codes available, rug.fm/rewards for a rewards program to earn rug token. We're trying to change things a little bit. We make them more scarce and also less long. We're going to be experimenting a lot. But the code is Mandolisa, Mandolisa, Mandolisa. But back to the Glimmering. It says over here, and that's where I want to talk to Jimmy about, who's on the Twitter space. It says, in addition, we've partnered with Jamie.eth to bring his mutant apes into the world of the Glimmering as a derivative collection, Glimmering Mutant Apes. Those holding a Glimmering Hero NFT will be guaranteed access to mint the Glimmering Mutant Ape when we launch that part of the collection early May. Jamie, I mean, talk to me more about this like collaboration that or partnership, that you have with the Glimmering over here.
Well, I mean, you've kind of summed it up really nicely there. And Brett talked about it a little bit earlier. They're going to be villains in the game. You come across adversaries when you're in tabletop RPG. So there's now going to be a class of characters that are mutants, and based off of, starting out with, the 4 mutants that, I've introduced from my collection. I think I'm holding something like 70 or 80 mutants still.
That's it?
So yeah,
small handful.
I didn't pull any legendary OSF or Mando trades over the last couple weeks, so but I'm really excited because I've got the Kingship NFT or the Kingship collaboration, and I'm really enjoying exploring IP in the IP universe with these NFTs that I own. It's really opened up a lot of interesting relationships and opportunities. And the Glimmering and Gripner being one of them. And it's been really great to collaborate with them and work on, the deal itself. And now we're starting to work on, more of the creative side of it and how these guys are going to come to life. So I'm just really excited about like coming and taking this IP and expanding it into other experiences, which is what that IP ownership is about. And really what Web3 is about in a lot of ways. It's about the ability to have decentralized assets and to use them in different places. IP is not one that everybody will use all the time, but it's the same type of mechanism of being able to take your sword from, World of Warcraft into the Fortnite game in the future. Here we're taking one collection and, the Glimmering is leveraging the Bored Apes IP through me as an owner to bring those assets into their game. And I want to see more and more and more of this, not just with Bored Apes, but across all projects. So it would be cool to see Rug Radio, NFTs show up in the Glimmering one day and other places too, So this is why I'm excited about it, because for me, like, it's about these foundational primitives of being able to do these things. And then a lot of times people just need examples of this is possible and this can happen, and then it inspires other people. So that's why I do a lot of what I do.
No, that's true. I mean, we'll chat for sure. I mean, I'm down to always use our stuff into more and more. Like now that we're finally looking into it even more. But that's a great explanation. I mean, Brett, Kyle, do you guys plan on is this a way that you guys plan on expanding the eco once that comes to, is with specific selected partners in order to add their assets into the game? How does that work out? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, right? So Gripner is the company, the Glimmering is our first game world. But at the company level, really, we're a media business, right? And we're building a media company, and we're starting with tabletop games on the blockchain. And Gripner's building a protocol that enables any other tabletop game to build on it, right? So by bringing the Glimmering Mutant Apes into this world as a derivative collection and kind of re-envisioning that in the art style, it's stage one. But what does it look like to expand that, right? It's absolutely within my mind to have an entirely new game world that's just mutant related. What is the lore that extremely dedicated groups such as the Mutant Cartel have spent time building up, that we can enable all of their community members to interact? And when I look across the space, having built in it for the last year and a half, there's 3 things that I observe are commonalities across pretty much every successful project and community. They want 3 things. They want to build stronger relationships with their fellow members in a way that Discord text streams don't enable.
Yep.
They want to live and embody their PFP and have some fun. And then they want to add value to the collection and the community. And these types of interactions are the great way to do it, because tabletop gameplay is all collective storytelling. When you're telling stories, you're building bonds, you're living your PFP. And the more everybody does it, the more it raises all the ships, right? So for Gripner, it's about expanding other IP onto the protocol, either within the world of the Glimmering or supporting the development of entirely new game worlds. And as a media company, you can imagine all of the Glimmering game modules and monster manuals and all the shit that you may have grown up looking at and fascinating over the art. We're going to have that in game stores as well. We've already created VTube animations of our player characters. So enabling people to have these things, and when they live stream content, they can be an orc warlock instead of my ugly ass. Like all of these things are really our vision to export the IP, not just the Glimmering IP, but everything that builds on the Gripner protocol across media channels of distribution where it makes sense. And we're starting obviously with somebody who's well respected and regarded, and of course a project that we love and want to be a part of, which is Jimmy and the Mutants. But from here, it expands.
He's getting a lot of flowers. I love Jimmy too. I'm just kidding. Someone said Stranger Things, The Glimmering, coming Netflix next summer.
There you go. I love it. That's it. That's one of Kyle's ideas without question.
The Glimmering has this name, like The Glimmering. Like it's just like when I saw it, the partnership stuff, I was like, hey, that's like a gangster like NFT project name. Obviously, when we see like hundreds a month, names, I'm just like, yo, that's one name that I find pretty cool. So, March 30th here, I'm gonna share my screen one more time here. It says March 30th is your drop. Of course, that is coming very soon, 13 days away per screen here. So talk to me about, what will you be able to play your you said that you're launching a game was different with other launches. You're launching the game with the NFT on March 30th.
Correct.
So my question then is, pardon my French, what game will you be able to play with that NFT?
Yep. Yeah, you'll be able to play the Glimmering level 1 adventures. And if you go to theglimmering.com in the hero part of the site, there's a new trailer that shows what the play on chain experience looks like, but effectively it's
Would you say it is real quick in the menu?
On the homepage.
Okay, cool. Bet. Boom. There you go.
And then that trailer
right there.
If you want to show it, Farouk, we can. But
giving you the D and delivering a brand new campaign. Welcome to The Glimmering, the world's first 5e tabletop role-playing game on the blockchain. Beginning March 30th, mint your NFT hero from our Genesis collection of playable characters. And start kicking ass at play.gripner.com. Search the hall for a table with your favorite game master. Connect with fellow adventurers. Play the game and etch your place in history when your progress is recorded on chain. Whether you're a noob or a seasoned pro, there's a quest waiting for you.
Pretty cool.
What the fuck are you waiting for? Kick down the door and take what's yours. At play.gripner.com.
Kick down the door and take what's yours. That's
give the D. That's deliver.
Yes, I mean that kind of shows it, but really the net is that you've got your hero NFT. You go to play.gripner.com, connect your wallet. You see a hall, as we call it, which is full of gaming content. You can look at the game masters who are running those games. You look at other players that have booked a seat to play that game at the table. You reserve your spot, and when the game time kicks off, you port yourself into a Discord channel. All the other players that have signed up and the game master are there. And the game master is using virtual tabletops like Owlbear or Roll20 or whatever they want to use to visualize the game experience. And players play and have fun. And at the end of the game, when the adventure concludes, not only does it record the data back to your chain, on chain to your character, but then there's a treasure box that pops open that's randomized loot and treasure, weapons, armor, spells, scrolls, etc., all of which are NFTs that get airdropped to the players' wallets for completing the game, and they can use those to equip their character in the future. They can, sell and trade them as they want, and you got to complete 2 games for each level to level up. Right, so on launch day, we're going to have a supply of game masters to enable folks to play. And our promise to the community is that we'll have enough supply side from game masters to enable everybody to play at least 2 adventures in the first month so they can level up. And in every month, we're going to release new game content for each level.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And by the way, that's the one of the Mutants, right?
That's one of the Mutants that we're going to be working with. We're going to re-illustrate this art style into its own collection. Right.
It's pretty cool.
And to match more of to hold true to the original intent and kind of vision of Mutants in general, but also to match more of the Glimmering style aesthetic.
All right. That's pretty cool. I like that. I saw this. I just found this Decrypt article. I was going through the Gripner Twitter page over here. I mean, that's good that we're showing it on video, but you can see Gripner at GRIPNR if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever. I know we post everywhere. Also, _Glimmering, GLIMMERING, are the Twitter accounts for the game. I mean, Brent, Kyle, I know Jimmy had to run, but if there's anything else you'd like to share before we take off here, of course, the launch is on March 30th. So pay attention to that. If you're a Rug Radio holder, pay attention to the pinned tweet, but also we tweet out on the Rug Radio official account. So of course, always make sure with the accounts and the legit links and whatnot, right? Or come into our Discord to make sure that's the right one if you're extra careful, but it's on pre-mint. So we have 500 allow list spots to our holders. And also it seems like if you're an active member and participant to the Glimmerings community on Discord, it seems like you also have some ways to get involved. But if there's anything else you guys would like to share before we take off here.
Yeah, but it's the main thing. Like, just delighted to be here and really honored to be able to offer access to the Rug Radio community. We're huge fans, and it's not that hard to get involved, right? I mean, we're active every single day. The team is very present. The mint on March 30th. It's the VIPs and our most active community members that get access. And then we'll roll it out through the weekend until it sells out. We're putting 1974 on offer for this phase 2 because that's the year that D&D was invented. So why not? It's 250 Matic, and it's a hell of a lot of fun no matter what. So come on in, say hello. We'll make you feel warm, welcome, and invited, and we'll get you taken care of.
You can come play now too. We're running tables now, so it's not on-chain play, but you can get into the Discord. We have games running every weekend. We do a Twitch stream every Friday at, I guess, 10 a.m. or is it 9 a.m.?
No, it's at noon. It's noon Central Time, 10 a.m. your time. Yeah,
in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you want to get active and get involved, you can come play now and experience.
Where can people see the gameplay? Because maybe some people, because it's in less than an hour, maybe some people just genuinely want to go check it out.
Yeah, certainly. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it is. It's the Glimmering. If you search the Glimmering Twitch, then you'll find it because it's a Twitch live stream. And I'm sure that right now, probably my community manager is probably tweeting that link as fast as he can on Twitter because you just asked and I couldn't freaking remember. Right. But yeah, it's on Twitch.
In a second, like when I searched the Glimmering Twitch, it was like the first thing that pulled up.
Good.
You're right. So first thing. So, anyways, Brent, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning and sharing this time with us. It was great, and best of luck with your mint March 30th. I'm definitely going to be rooting for you and Jimmy. I love Jimmy personally, so
good people.
Always cool. Yeah, definitely good people, and thank you so much for coming up today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Much appreciated.
All right, see you guys.
Peace out.
See you. Ciao. So just last but not least, now that I am solo on the stream as well, Fair team, are you guys with me?
Yo.
You guys want to come on video?
Oh my gosh.
It's fine.
I'm alone, bro.
So do you have the 5 winners of the Corey Van Loo PFPs?
Do we have the 5 winners? We do. But beforehand, we have a surprise.
A surprise?
All I'm saying, Mando Lisa holders, check your wallets.
What?
Let's go.
I didn't make my shit yet. Hold on, what do you mean?
All I am saying, after popular demand, we have added loads to the Mando Lisa.
No!
This is it. Let's go.
Wait, where can I find the Twitter? Let's go 50 seconds. I gotta share this on the stream. Hold on. This is
go to Mando Lisa.
Hold on. I gotta share this on the stream. Yo, chat. Stay here. And you know what's funny? I'm alone on the stream now. It's just me streaming. So I go on the open sea of it. Hold on. Mando Lisa.
We've added
They
it.
added the lobe. That
The
is
lobes are back.
so
This is it.
funny. I'm gonna refresh metadata on Mando Lisa. I'm dying. Yeah, 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 yeah. They added the. Oh my god, I'm dying. Oh my god, you guys are. Okay, you guys are terrible. You guys are funny. I actually even have to run to another Twitter Spaces right now. But let's announce the win. I think you still have time to mint, right?
Yeah, still have time to mint. Yeah, just the last. Oh my gosh, the team at Fair are going crazy. All right, yeah, no, we got about 20-30 minutes to mint. We're closing it forever.
So it turns out I can't mint. I can't mint my own, right? That's what it says.
You can't mint your own for it because you can't follow yourself. That's the problem. See, there we go.
I found the flaw. I see. You guys are not all perfect. You're great.
Isn't it? We're learning. This is honestly first Twitter condition to buy, but there you go. You can mint an Ovi, Lisa, or you can mint a Mando, Lisa.
I just minted 5 Mandos, and I'm minting 5 Ovis right now. Then I wish I could mint 5 of me, but it's okay.
You need to connect to a different Twitter account. There you go.
I know.
You need to get that shadow account out.
I might do it from the Rug Radio Twitter real quick.
Come on. Big moves.
Big man, big moves. So let me go and mint 5 Farouk Lisas as well, because I feel like those are going to be like iconic down the line to just gift and stuff like that.
For sure.
So I want to have it on. And so for the 5 winners of the Corey Van Loo PFPs, how do you want to proceed?
Listen. We've had a huge range of different diversity of collections being produced. We've had fan favorite collections where people have made collections paying homage to Fair XYZ, which has been amazing.
Oh, wow.
We've seen generative art using AI and DALL-E and lots of new technologies. We've seen photography. We've seen people making a collection about an alpha group about football. So yeah, we're going to basically just collate the winners now, and we're going to be airdropping them directly to the creator addresses of each of those owners. But yeah, we want to thank everyone who got involved. And it's just awesome to see such creativity happening through the platform. And a bunch of these people we're seeing are literally not creators. These are people which are, just people coming in for the first time and experimenting using NFT and digital asset creation technology. So yeah, big kudos to everyone that entered. And hopefully in the next 30 minutes or so, you'll be airdropped the Corey Van Loo PFP if you are a winner. So yeah, very, very excited. And we'll follow it up. I know. It's hot.
In the word of I'm having so much trouble today. In the words of the great Mando Lisa,
it's fire.
And so, I love that you finally posted the tweet about the new Twitter conditions to buy. I'm on stream. But by the way, guys, it's so funny. I'm solo on stream. Ovi's left. Mando's on the plane, so it's just me. And we still have everybody on YouTube. Hey, YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. But it says retweeted a tweet, like a tweet, follow you. I think this is fun. Look, anyone can use these tools. Beyond this partnership, we're going to be working with them when it comes to stubs. And whenever a future drop or whatever, definitely even fun stuff on the side. I want to do it with you guys because this is really cool and allows you to add Twitter conditions. You can even add a condition that says make sure you don't follow X person to mint the project. So I find it fun. Can someone, I don't want to ask everyone because then a lot of people are going to do. Can someone just mint me 5 and I'll pay for gas? Is there someone? Jazz, I'm bringing Jazz up. Jazz, heads up. I'm bringing you up on the stream. Jazz, can you mint 5 Farouk Lisas for me, please?
I got you, man. I got you. I'll get you 5 Farouks.
I think it's
no problem.
Gas. I'll send you the gas money, please, if you don't mind. Kindly send me the 5 because I want 5. I want someone to because I made my mom, my girlfriend, and my boyfriend.
Big announcement. It's all coming out.
Breaking news.
Did I just say my mom, my girlfriend, and my boyfriend? Babe,
that was a thread guy moment. That was a TG moment.
My mom heard that. And my mom, oh my God, Vanessa heard that.
Vanessa's going to be pissed.
She heard this. She's like, I heard that. And I called my Vanessa, okay, listen. I gotta go. I'm 13 minutes late to a Twitter space. I don't want to leave these people behind. They count on me to go up there and show them some love and support. And I gotta take a piss. So with that, with that, shout out to Fair. It's been a pleasure. But again, we're going to be starting stubs very, very soon. So, I'm hyped for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to bring a different aspect to getting rewarded for listening into the show every morning with regards to minting some dope art. In a day and age where, art is pretty much the only thing we should hang on to into the space. and it was a lot of fun. Again, Brent Delicious and Kyle and Jimmy that came from TheGlimmering. Really awesome to have you guys as partners for today's show. It was fun. Ovi, Mendo, as usual, a pleasure, even though you're not there. Jazz, who's going to put a thread out. He's going to put it on Spotify, on Apple, on YouTube. And by the way, everyone, just quickly, while I have y'all on the YouTube, honestly, you should seriously start paying attention to Rug Radio YouTube, because we're seriously making moves on there. We post all our lives. All live videos are all there. Rect Radio, GM Web3, and Gen Web3, all 3 shows. We have Rug Radio U, how to claim Rug. What is Rug? What is RDAO? How to read RDAO? What the fuck is the Rug Radio Genesis? We have our little clips for every show. We have a lot of shorts going out every single day, and we're really pushing hard on that front. So definitely check it out over there. And for those who are curious, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, we have Rug Radio Town Hall every other week, so bi-weekly, where we update you guys on everything going on with Rug Radio behind the scenes, as transparent as possible, and gives you some light on where we're headed next. So with that, G-Man, thank you for coming today. Rug Radio account, which is actually, never mind, that's me from my other phone. And so thank you to me, and then OSF, Mando, and everybody. With that. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you Monday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for another episode of GM Web3 on Rug Radio. Let's go.
And it's a beautiful day.
I got so much talking left to do today.
GM. On this beautiful day. Good morning to Web3 with Barocco, Seth, and Mando. Good live at 10:30. It's live on Rug Radio. It's a beautiful day.
Hey.
Have a beautiful day. GM. Rug Radio. Rug Radio. Rug Radio. Rug Radio.
Oh.
Rug Radio. Rug Radio. Rug Radio.
I'm just kidding. All right, y'all. Go home. Go touch some grass this weekend. Love y'all. And broadcast. Boom. 1 second. So Ovi stayed in the